Alright guys, it's Shalom with the Paradox Gaming Network, and it's been a month already. Like, the whole month of June just disappeared, and I didn't have a chance to do any Ashes of Creation recap videos. Truth of the matter is, everything came out basically in this last week, but they did give us a lot of information. So I'm just going to do a real quick June recap, sort of put everybody on the same page. This is going to be good, bad, and ugly any way you slice it, because not everything is great. So what I do want to remind people is that we should have been in Alpha 1 by now, and that got canceled back in March. And a lot of people that I talk to feel that we've sort of just been floating lost since then. It's kind of difficult to even know which direction you're heading when you don't know when anything is. I will tell you guys right off the bat that I don't agree with a lot of the things that Intrepid has done, but this isn't the video for that. Intrepid's already taken the lumps for their missteps. And I can't believe, after seeing the Discord reactions today, that I'm actually going to be a little off-center today. I'm going to try to give a little bit of perspective, a little bit of counterweight, because let's just look at June and see where we are. Let's leave all of the bad stuff in the past, and let's just take a look at today and back through last Saturday, all the things we've gotten. Now, what I do have to start with is a little accountability. And from Margaret back in April, the content roadmap was they were aiming for one article per week, one video per month, and one live stream per month. So to look at the month of June, we didn't get anything the week of 3 June. We didn't get anything the week of 10 June. The week of 17 June, we did get the lore of the Fellbeak Macaw. And this week, we got the Dev Diary and the live stream. So I do have to say that although they missed 2 weeks in a row, when we take a look at that lore of the Fellbeak in just a minute, you're going to see that's probably meaty enough that we can give them like double credit for it. I mean, it wasn't 2 articles. It definitely wasn't the Know Your Node series that we basically went the whole month and we didn't get. But a lot of work went into that lore of the Fellbeak Macaw. And a couple other things that we're missing if we're giving out grades for missing homework. The creative director's letter, we're going to talk about why that's going to be late. And then we're going to talk about the staff page update. And this is a big one for me that in, May 14th, it was going to be added to the site in June along with the headshots. And these will probably be updated on a quarterly basis. This piece right here has got to get resolved. They can't keep limping along without accountability to how many staff they have. During my interview with Steven back in April, there were more than 60 people working on the project. Then a couple of weeks later during the live stream, it was 7 more engineers. Well, is that 60, a little bit more than 60 plus 7? Does that 7 include the 60? So at this point, I'm going to be honest. If Intrepid can't get their team page updated, then just give me a staff directory with names and job titles so I can do a little bit of fact checking. And that way I can confidently say, yes, I believe you that you have 60, 70 people working on this project, because my integrity has to remain intact. So if somebody asks me how many people are working on Ashes of Creation right now, the only thing I can say is I have 42 names and Bear McCrary. With that said, I want to take us back to the creative director's letter. I believe in accountability. And the reason why the creative director's letter being late is important to me is that in that creative director's letter, it said, I will be writing a letter each quarter to keep you abreast of our progress and goals. That's fine. Now, what we got today is the creative director letter will be in the first half of July. The letter is late. And late is late. I don't care. Late is late, and this nonsense of everything in game development is always going to be late. I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to it at all. Late with dates is cool, right? But it's still late. Now, here's where I'm going to put this to the people who like to wave the banner of everything in game development is always going to be late. Absolutely nothing you're going to try to convince me of the letter being late is justified. Well, he doesn't have the dates yet. He wants to put the dates in the letter. That's cool. Do the creative director's letter and then put another deliverable in it. I don't care whatever else you need to put in the creative director's letter, but where it comes to do a section on dates. All right, guys, I don't want to put soon trademark in this spot, but unfortunately I have to put soon trademark in this spot, but I owe you another update no later than 15 July that's going to give you dates for some other stuff. Because right now it basically, to me, and I've gotten kind of jaded but I understand what everybody in the Discord said. The only thing you know is that you're going to be getting a letter in July that's going to have some dates in it, but you have no idea what dates are in it. And one of the more jaded people actually said all that the date is going to be is that the August cosmetics are going to be available on, and then, yeah, you put a date in a letter. So I also asked the question is, so the one in July, is that going to count as the second quarter or the third quarter letter? And I believe that was an important question, kind of makes me a jerk. I'm going to say, I don't want to see you skip April, May, June's letter, put one out in July, and then not get another letter till December. If that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do. But at least step up and say, we gave you a letter in July. We don't owe you one until December 31st. And then even if they did, they could turn around and be like, oh, 15 January. With that said, I do want to talk about some of these things, the lore of the Felbeek Macaw. You know, the truth of the matter is this is not update stuff. This is insight stuff, and as you see a little bit going on. But remember, if you want to hold somebody accountable to the things they've said, make sure you're holding them accountable to what they said, not what you think they said. And I hear this all the time. People say, well, Margaret promised us weekly updates. That's not what Margaret promised. Margaret promised one article per week. Now, I said that this one is probably enough work to count for 2. This was an article. You can check it out on the website. There's a link in the description below. But as you've seen, as I've been talking, the video's playing. They actually kind of did like a half article, half dev diary. No devs talked, but they kind of showed you the bits and pieces in it. And I know that not everybody likes these, and that's fine. You don't have to like the fluffy lore pieces that they do. But you do have to acknowledge that they count for the checkbox. You don't have to like it, but if you're going to argue about it, make sure you argue intelligently. Hey man, I acknowledge that they put something out this week. I just don't like what they're putting out. That's the only way Margaret and Toast and Steven know what we want to see. Case in point, the live stream has sort of followed the same template now 2 months in a row. I think the live stream was really good. I'll get to that in a minute. But it was because the feedback from the community said, we really like this format. I also want to talk about the dev diaries. The dev diaries, see, these are really well done. When Steven talked about full transparency with the community, I think everybody was expecting to see a lot more of the development exactly hands-on. But the truth of the matter is Intrepid also has to explain a lot about video game development to the mass communities who don't know. Now, inside the Ashes of Creation community, we have game developers on other projects. So they sort of tell and teach and show and explain to the community. Intrepid needs to kind of seize the moment on that opportunity, and they need to do a little bit more explaining, a little bit more teaching, because then it'll help people understand why it's taking so long. I do want to say that these do show game growth. I acknowledge it's not what people want to see, but if people are being, understanding, they're being reasonable, they should understand that the dev diaries are showing game growth. And this is just a different form of transparency. They are getting in there. You are seeing stuff, and they don't pull any punches with it, because I will say, one of the things I said is, why is some of this footage so old? I look at everything. I look at file names. I look at dates. In the bottom right-hand corner of the videos, you see that this stuff is from 2 years ago. And you're like, why is some of this footage so old? And you guys know I am who I am. I'm authentic. I asked it right in the Discord. So I do have to ask why the footage in the June 2019 videos is all the way from June 2017. Somebody made the joke, well, maybe they didn't pay for the license and they're just setting the clock back on the computer. I highly doubt that. I don't believe that for a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them answer this question. Steven gave an answer in the stream today.
In the video yesterday, and some people captured that, in the bottom right, it showed the date. Some of those images were from 2017, and that's because we don't show everything as soon as they come out. We have a lot of stuff that hasn't since. Yeah, because it was a screen capture of some of the animation work. I think that was.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So you know, we have a lot of assets and production that's been had over the past couple of years.
And I think when it comes to the Dev Diaries stuff also,
really
we're
cool.
trying to show like the work process, and so sometimes we go through our old footage to kind of grab like stuff that we're like, oh, this kind of shows off what they're talking about at this moment. So keep that in mind too. Dev Diaries are a little bit different because it is the development process. And not everyone has recorded every single element of. I have since I started now trying to get people to, and I can look at Chris from here, make them record the things that they create. He's thumbs upping for me.
All right, and so here's the head scratcher, man. Here's what I don't get, and here is why I'm a little bit more confident. I'm a little bit more optimistic today than I normally am after live streams. You're looking at this armor right here. You're looking at this video, this scene. It's from the Dev Diary, but we haven't seen this before. I just asked Margaret if I could get a copy of this or if they had this armor in a high definition image, and she said this is going to be showcased in the future. And that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. This I don't think does it justice, but this is the best way that I can do it. But if they have these assets done already, where are we at? And it's the question we keep asking. I know they're afraid to show anything, but this looks damn good. So this is, in my opinion, this is ready to be shown. Now, they have their reservations, and I completely accept it. They know people aren't going to understand that it's still a game in development. Being a content creator, having engaged with you guys, understanding first pass, second pass, third pass on graphics, animations. I get that you guys don't believe that, but you're going to see, again, something from APOC versus something from today. I wish they had done a direct comparison, but we take what we get. That takes me to the live stream highlights today. And the big one is, I want to say, there were a lot of good visuals today. Now, I get it. There were no dates, and this makes people mad. But we know those dates are coming in the creative director's letter. We just have to be a little bit more patient. But what I did like, and I wish that we could sit down, fly out to San Diego and explain that, like this destruction video that I'm about to splice in here in a second, I wish that they would capitalize on these more. Instead of having those 2 weeks of nothing, they could have taken this video I'm about to show, just dress it up with the introductory video, a little bit of royalty-free music that I'm about to include with it, the destruction video, and then just, you don't have to say anything, sell anything, spin anything, show anything. Just put this video out with a little bit of music, boom, and you're good. So let's take a look at this. All right, so then the other 3 things I want to show you today from the video is, number 1, I want to show you this beach. If you guys remember, the water in APOC looked horrible. Like, it absolutely looked disgusting. The ocean was awful. The river looked great. The water in the game map looked phenomenal. But the ocean looked like junk. I actually was like a little worried back in December. I was on the beach. It looked like trash, and I was really kind of taken aback. But Michael Bacon, he is the environment guy. He's the environment dude. I knew that wasn't going to be satisfactory to Bacon, and so this is the second time they've shown us this beach in consecutive months. Plus, I have to laugh about the pangolin and the armor, the 2 pieces they did. I'm going to let them talk a little bit because I think those are important. But now we're starting to see things getting done. I understand it's not a game mode. I understand that it's not a playable version. But we are seeing stuff done. And that leads us to getting closer to Alpha 1, getting closer to Alpha 2, and all those things take us closer to launch. So there's just going to be a couple of spliced Intrepid pieces back to back to back.
Yeah,
Well, I guess the cool thing about
Yeah.
showing, you know, are we seeing this now?
Yeah, there it is.
The cool
there
thing
it
about
is.
seeing this now is like you guys get to see, you know, this is like a week of iteration.
Yeah, this is the latest, and this is yeah, it's got like the sort of dual sort of waves coming in on top of each other now.
Yeah.
And
you can see them
it's
coming
quite a
over
bit
the
cleaned
rocks.
up, and you know, the motion in it is quite a bit more accurate to, like, you know, surf waves and things. So,
and the cool thing about, you know, working on, and I know we say this so many times, and probably those of you who do get this are annoyed at hearing this every time. But the cool thing about, you know, this level of polish and attention means that when the MMO is experienced by players, you're not seeing it in the, you know, bare bones stage. You're going to be seeing it with this level of polish and iteration because we were able to do so for, you know, the APOC modes.
Next step.
So as you guys know, because you've seen, I think, Carson's Dev Diary, right?
Yeah.
Traditionally, he works on weapons and props,
Yeah.
but he's been delving into the creature area. And I thought he did a great
It's so
job
good.
with his courier.
Yeah.
So the tongue's not like sticking straight. That's just because like the
That's
freezing
for
of
our
the-
bind
just
pose
the
for the
default
model.
pose.
But it
Yeah.
does have a tongue, and it is
You'll see the tongue.
interesting.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
No, it's
The way
great.
it's going to animate is going to be
But
great.
this creature, as you guys know, I think this was one of our cosmetics,
Yep.
monthly cosmetics
2017,
from 20.
in
Was it
July or
2017?
something.
July. It was
Yeah.
back in July, right? We're starting to work through that backlog of you know, production assets. But here you can see him animated, and this little guy will be
cute.
on a human. This little guy will be about just above the calf, and he's going to follow the player around. So when you're idle, he's going to do this little idle, you know, kind of scratching himself. And then when you start to move or run, he's going to start rolling. If he has to catch up to you,
This
he's
is
going to roll.
early.
Yeah, the
I
roll
remind
is
you
to
this
close.
Is early.
Right, in a
Not-
closed distance. So like if you do a teleport or a jump or some fast movement, he's going to roll up to you.
Yeah, he's got to get out of his regular
Right.
trot, which you'll actually see.
And
There
that's
it
his
is.
run
That's him.
cycle,
That's him
yeah.
running normally, kind of with
He's
you.
so precious.
And yeah, we have a walk as well. Yeah, he's a little
Yeah.
pigeon toed. I love this little guy.
Yeah.
Carson, he nailed it as far as the
And
concept
then
goes. too.
Minnie McPhee was the animator for this.
Yeah, Alex McPhee, he cranked out
Where's
all
his
these
little
animals.
swim?
Oh.
Yeah, so thanks to him.
He
and,
swims like Godzilla.
I'm just gonna keep squeeing.
He does. He's great.
So cute.
I feel like the reference anim for this was Godzilla.
It definitely
a tiny
Yeah.
little baby Godzilla.
A little baby Godzilla.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so great.
Yeah, Minnie McPhee's doing a great job as well.
But yeah, and you'll get to see, you know, the iteration. Like when, of course, when we have the Tidebreaker, we'll show you a little bit more.
Yeah,
as we-
yeah, yeah.
And of course, our next piece, we still have more.
Yes.
Is an armor piece. I think is this one that Keith's working
Yeah,
on?
this is Keith kind of working, coinciding with me on the body and basically getting a nice basic armor set in for us just to kind of, this would be a very low level, but we just wanted to get a very basic set back in that isn't in the same timeline that APOC was in, where, you know, that was an older timeline, the armor was different.
This is one of the Kalar sets, right?
Yes, this is Kalar, yeah.
So, you know, the important thing to note here is you're seeing each of these individual pieces that'll be present on a character sheet or character paper doll, unique in the sense that you can remove and add, you know, as you would in other MMORPGs, and just understanding how the silhouette of the armor changes as you add or detach these pieces, right? This is the type of customization that players are going to have when they're mixing and matching or adding different pieces to the set, but there's 8 distinct visual pieces as part of this armor set.
All right. And then in every live stream lately, Margaret and Toast, I really enjoy the way that they've changed this live stream. I think this one was better. A lot of questions being asked in the forums, which allows the community members to engage and then not necessarily waste good Q&A time with Steven and Jeff on questions that the community has citable answers to. But there were some good gems today. And the first one I wanted to talk about was basements and freeholds. And this one I pulled out because I have a friend, Yoruki from ArcAge, who actually made a basement in a house in ArcAge, and she got told to stop teaching people because it could be considered an exploit. But the answer we got was maybe, probably not, because this would involve changing the terrain. And my limited knowledge of game development from the developers I talked to is this is something that you don't really want to mess around with too much. This is where you start to get problems. I'll tell you, in ArcAge, I know this is a huge problem with the way they have stacked the world, because you can fall through the world, and that's never a good thing. I also want to talk about tank archetypes being the only tank. I know this question has come up in the Discord a lot, and today we got an answer, and it's not going to make people happy, but at least it's an official answer. The tank archetype is probably going to be better at it. So what that means is tank subclass something is probably going to be better at tanking than, say, cleric sub tank. Now, does that mean you can't tank anything as a cleric sub tank? No, because they just believe in player freedom. but tank archetype is probably going to be the most efficient, which if you remember, the entire system is based around your primary archetype is your role. So a tank is a tank, a healer is a healer, bard is support, summoner is a jack of all trades, and the other 4 are damage dealers of a specific type. The crew sizes for ships. Now, here's a big one. If you have no idea what ship combat is going to look like, I have a video up there in the upper right-hand corner where I talk about Arcage naval content, but I specifically did the video for Ashes fans so they could get like a little bit of a taste, maybe a little bit of the flavor. Remember, Steven comes from Arcage. Steven really enjoyed the Arcage naval content. It's a question that he gets asked a lot about. So they said the crew size is a small ship, 1 to 3. A medium ship is going to be group sized. That's going to be roughly 8. They didn't give a number, but remember, groups are based on 8s. I didn't want to do like 6 to 8 because that'd be me putting words in their mouth. They did say group size, so it could be 8, but I imagine, my opinion, it's probably closer to 6 to 8. And then the large boats are going to be raid size ships. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, really? 40 people on a boat? Yes, absolutely. 40 people on a boat. I can tell you from Arcage, the Anoan Galleon held an entire raid. You needed, give or take, you needed 15 out of those 50 people to do everything, and then a lot of people to defend the ship. Battles at sea will be epic, according to Steven, and I kind of believe him on this. If you watched my interview with him, I did press him a little bit on naval content. I never want to play stump or chump because then it doesn't really get you good answers. But he did say the sea is going to be, he said the sea is going to be populated. There's going to be things in there. We've talked about how boats are going to be meaningful. The loss of boats is going to be meaningful. So I really think Steven's hyped about the naval content. A little bit probably more than Jeff wants him to be because he kind of seems to want to talk about it. Let's talk about battle pets for a second. These keep coming up. I know a lot of people sometimes think battle pets are a negative because if you don't have a good one, you don't have a strong one, then me and my battle pet versus you, it really almost becomes a 2-on-1 situation. They talked about they don't necessarily increase your power. They use some of your power, so they don't increase your power vertically. They increase your power horizontally. So this is Jay, this is Jalon saying this, not Intrepid. Imagine if you want to take 10% of your soul out and chuck it in a battle pet. You still only have 100% power, but now it's you in the battle pet versus somebody, but not 100% plus 10% on the battle pet for 110%. So we're still trying to get more information about battle pets. Steven always like flips the cards real quick. He's like, I'll show you, but I'm not going to tell you anything. Guild sizes. I did like this question. This was actually a really well worded question. So kudos to whoever asked this. We do know the guild size is still currently set to be 300 with no boosts. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 50 if you take all boosts. So that is actually a lot smaller than I thought. But it is meaningful because, you know, I'd be interested to see what that final number is. Given that a raid is 40 people, a guild size of 50 with max boosts really does sort of fit in that model. Want to talk about patron guilds and nodes? Everyone always says, how many guilds can live in a node? How many guilds can live in a node? Well, the truth of the matter is it's not about how many guilds can live in the node. It's about how many guilds can influence the node. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, Jay, in your node series, you talk about guilds don't affect nodes. Got to remember, guilds don't own nodes. Guilds most certainly influence nodes. They live in nodes. They have a fortress in nodes. They have guild halls in nodes. But an individual is a mayor. An individual rules the node. Now, that individual may certainly be part of a guild. They probably will be part of a guild. But it is not a guild mechanic. It is an individual player mechanic. There is an entire other layer of guild interaction with nodes that we know very little about. But we do know that patron guilds in nodes, 3 at the metropolis, 2 at the city, 1 at the town, none at the village. And that is it for today, guys. There is a lot more. I'm going to include some links to some videos, to the Q&A transcript. There's a lot of bits and pieces there. I do want to say, though, I know a lot of people are like down in the dirt. They're angry. They're pissed off. They're upset. Emotions are running high. They think you're not getting information. Everything that we kind of need is what we're getting. We just have to take a fresh approach to it, a fresh look and say, okay, we are really getting content. We are getting information. We're just not getting it the way we want. We're not getting a cheeseburger served up to us. We're getting, you know, one of those to-go boxes with the patty, the bread, the vegetables, the cheese. You kind of got to assemble it yourself. I'm feeling a lot better today about the state of Ashes than I did a week ago. About a week ago, I was starting to really, you know, raise an eyebrow and say, where's the content? Where's the updates? Seeing all the different pieces of animations and art and the destruction video, all those bits and pieces, those look good. Those make me feel good. The fact that Steven took the time out to hear the complaint about the date from the Discord and then remembered to talk about it in the live stream, that was a powerful statement to me. It means he is paying attention to the community, even if he's not as active in the community as he used to be. So that's all good stuff. If you guys want to talk more, I'm Jalan, #0001 on Discord. You can find me in the official Discord. I run a Discord of my own if you want to talk in like a more casual setting. I stream 3 times a week. I have switched my Monday and Wednesday stream times. So you can pop in. It doesn't matter if I'm playing Ashes. Nobody's playing Ashes right now. It doesn't matter what game I'm playing. You want to ask an Ashes question, talk about Ashes, we can do that. And then as always, big thanks to my sponsors. There is a gift card giveaway going on in the bottom. There's a link to that. I do have a giveaway going on for hitting 5,000 subscribers. I'm a little late on that. That one is going out. And so big thanks to everybody who clicks that subscribe button. I did roll over 5,000 earlier this month. That means a lot to me. And then as soon as I get more Ashes of Creation information, I will be putting out another video. I'm probably going to do more Combine videos like this. I don't want to bombard you with every single piece of news we get, but we will be getting that update from Steve in the Creative Director's Letter. I'll be doing another analysis like I did with the last one. Until then, you guys make sure to enjoy your summer, get out there, be active, spend time with your kids, spend time with your families, and I will see you when we have more Ashes news. Take care. Hey, where are you going? You're not done yet. See these videos? There's videos up here to watch. You gotta go over here. Hit the chibi. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the webpage. And I'll see you guys on Twitch.